Alright, we're back on Lichess, gonna play some 3-minute games. My ping okay? Ping's fine. Try not to play when my ping's higher than like 200. Just because it can be very frustrating when you can't make moves fast enough. Alright. I'm gonna... let's play, in English. Obviously, I'm committed now. Go for the fianchetto. Knight of 3 is also a good move. So knight d5 is often played, but usually only once black has played knight c6, so that when I play cd5 it hits something. So I'm going to play bishop g2. I think this is a reasonable way for black to play, because I don't have the natural knight d5 response. I was thinking of inserting queen c2 next. So in the Sicilian, you always end up playing like dc3 against the Rossalima. There are some lines in the English where you play bc3. I'm not sure what's right here. I'm going to try bc3, maybe set up with d3 and e4. I don't really like the d3, e4 setups with the doubled pawns if they have a quick f5. They don't here. Maybe rook b1 is worth throwing in. I can play e4. I can also play like knight g5 to e4. That might be a useful repositioning, but I don't think so. Ooh, this could be smart. This could definitely be smart. Okay, I'm gonna take. If they take back knight, I will take on b7. I wouldn't mind them taking on c3. I think the pawns are so weak. And if they play a move like knight c5, they still have a lot of targets on the long diagonal. Okay. So rook b4 doesn't hold on to the pawn for long. And I don't want to play rook b1. I don't want to play rook b5. Don't want to play rook b4. I don't want to play rook anywhere. Queen d5 is kind of interesting, because if knight b7, queen e4 forks bishop and knight. They have bishop c8 there, and they probably have can meet just queen d5 with... I'm not sure. I'm going to try it. I think they should take on b7, I take on e4, and they have bishop c8. But now their knight's tied to their rook, so maybe knight d4, with the idea of meeting rook b8 with knight c6. And the knight is pinned. So I might have interesting play here. As always, well behind on the clock. Took too long in the opening. But I think this was a way to keep the game not going disastrously. Maybe queen f6 for them. That looks pretty normal. Because knight c6 isn't that big a threat. They can kind of just sit on it. It does make it really hard for them to unwind, because they can't move the knight, and they have trouble playing rook b8. So I think now I should just make improving moves. Maybe bishop e3. Just preparing rook b1. Right. I want to keep my queen on the diagonal, but I don't want to occupy c6. So queen f3 looks like the hardest square for them to annoy. If queen d5, maybe they can play rook e5 or something and pester my queen. So I just want rook b1 next. And that's pretty hard for them to meet. Now they don't have rook a7 because of knight c6. So I think I weaseled out of this pretty well. Okay. That makes sense. Can I take with the queen and still keep my bishop pinning it? I think so. I would have spent more time calculating it, but I don't think I have the time. Knight b5, the rook's double hit, and wherever it goes I can fork the rooks. Yeah, and we got the win. Wow. Okay, well that was an odd game. I'm really curious what happened there, because ended up winning, a very short game, just 20 moves, and felt I was in some trouble. So how do people normally take back here? So it hasn't come up much in master games, but bc3 is played more often. Still felt okay here. And then rook b1, e4 was when I started getting confused. Seems like Stockfish is having trouble. Is it bad internet connection? No. I'm going to reload the page. Sometimes that helps. Yeah, okay. So d e4, knight e4, rook b7, knight a5. And this is clever. The computer thinks it's about equal. Ooh. So knight d4 now, or knight g5 now, with the idea of taking bishop on e4, maybe getting in on h7. But okay, it's heading back towards equal. I chose queen d5, which does not work. Because bishop f3, we both completely missed this. I just assumed bishop c8, and after that I was doing well. But just, of course, bishop takes f3, rook b8, the pin's gone, problem solved. We were both completely blind to this. But as soon as bishop c8's played, I have a nice initiative. I found knight d4, which is not as good as knight g5, which wins tempo, threatening mate. And coming to h4, yeah. So I found a bad move there. Knight c6 to knight e7 makes sense. I missed this. Knight c6 d7, take on c8, removes the defender of b7. Alright, so I thought I handled this well after, but I did not. This was a poor win over a very strong player in FM. Alright, now we're just winning. Yeah. Well, okay. 1 for 1, but, mistakes were made. Did not see some tactical opportunities and kind of bungled the opening, though I think e4 was a nice shot for them. Alright, very strong opponent this game, 2600. We're going to prevent them playing e4, or try to. Now, I think I'm going to go bishop f5, try to get the bishop out before playing knight d7. I'll just let them take the pawn. I think you're supposed to have decent compensation after fe4, knight e4, knight e4, or sorry, fe4, knight e4, queen f3. If I play knight d6 or something there, I think it's decent. Okay. They're going to force me to take. I will. Do I need c6? I don't think so. I would like to be solid, and that involves letting them take on b7 if they want it. I just want to, finish my development. Now I guess c6 seems pretty useful. Maybe I can hold off, though. Maybe I can play bishop e7. I just like keeping a clamp on any d5 possibilities. But I also like breaking the pin such that they don't really have g4 type options. Alright, they do want g4. Okay, I'm going to be solid. We're playing bullet. I didn't realize I was playing bullet. Well, this was a complete disaster in that case, because I've taken far too long on the opening against a good player. I thought I was playing 3-minute, now I just have to make moves as fast as I can. Oh dear. I think we can all agree this is going to be a 1 for 2. Maybe knight b4 next, okay. Not so much, I meant to play a5, but let's go c5. Gotta try to do something active. Rook c8, I'll take queen, they don't have bishop b4, I am threatening mate. It's something, okay. They deflected it, of course. Maybe queen a4 next. Alright, I've somehow caught up on time against a good player. I have no idea how this happened. I'm just making moves that are, like, a bit odd. And we somehow clocked them. What a miracle. What was the time like here? They had, like, 35 seconds to my 15? Oh, wow. Okay. Weird game. Alright, let's go back to 3-minute as intended. No idea how that last one worked out. But I'm gonna say 2 for 2. Let's play e4. I played the closed Sicilian back in the day, but most of my chess playing career as an e4 player has been open Sicilians, which I'm probably a little prouder of than I should be, but I feel like I enjoy... I mean, I do play a bunch of sidelines, but I think it's fun to take people on where they think they're best prepped and show clever ideas. I think white can often play g4 in these structures. I'm just a little worried e4 gets weak. So I'm going to play bishop g5. They might have knight e4, bishop e7, knight c3, so this might have been a mistake. But my idea was to exchange and then occupy d5 with the knight, just because it's a very good knight. My next move might be queen d3, breaking the pin, but keeping my queen defending f4. f3. I can also still play g4. I don't want to allow knight d4. And queen d3 can sometimes be met by b5 favorably. My e4 pawn's a little loose. I'm just going to play c3. I feel no matter what I do, this is kind of a useful improvement to the pawn. I might have also had knight f6 and bishop d5 there, but I don't think so. Alright. I do love the knights. If they take on b3, I feel it's really hard to find a plan for them. They should probably move that bishop and play for f5. Yeah. Okay, maybe not so hard to find a plan. Where's the best square for my knight? Maybe bring it to e3. Or b4. So I'm going to swing it to c2. Probably bishop g6 is going to be played. Alright, not so worried about this. I don't think queen g5 is a big threat. I might play king h2 and threaten g3 if they play queen g5. Thinking about knight b4. Thinking about knight e3 and trying to lock down on f5. Probably locking down on f5 reduces white's counterplay the most. Yeah, and now that they're clearly going for it, I'm just going to try to not give them what they want. Yeah, and so they'd love to trade... Which bishop do I want to trade my knight for? I don't know. I might end up getting both. Let's go rook d1, get my rooks on the two best files. Alright, I'm going to take back knight. Now I'm hitting d6. They'd get e4 back, but then I'd pick up a6, so I probably am threatening to take. But I don't want to give them anything. So I'm going to try knight f5 here. Bishop f5, ef5, and maybe they have time for rook d8 there. They probably do. Okay, yeah. I'm going to go queen f3, threatening rook d6 and preventing d5. I think threatening rook d6. Rook d6, rook d6, queen a8, king h7. I don't think I want to take on a6 there. Alright, they were worried about this possibility. Maybe c4. Continue trying to control the d5 square. Just treat this, it's an Eidorf. If I can control the d5 square, should have a nice position. If they can get in the d5 break, I should be in serious trouble. If rook b7, I probably take on a6. Let's just slightly improve. I want to play g4 at some point, I think. It feels loosening, but also it frees up my queen, so then I could play like queen c6, and then as long as my king side doesn't collapse, I feel like I'm going to clean up a lot of pawns there. Okay, so I'm going to play g4. I'm going to try it. If queen g5, I might play queen e3 and try to trade queens. I think I like the rook endgame for me with their backwards d pawn, though they might easily argue I have my backwards b pawn. Okay, that is defended at the moment. Maybe rook a3. Maybe rook d5. Hit a5. Ooh, I blundered e4. So then I have to play queen d1, and then they have rook takes b3. Yeah. Okay, so they could have just taken. Now, I guess this might have been the wrong rook. I'm going to try to trade one pair of rooks. My king's going to be more vulnerable than theirs, so this is not the position I wanted to be playing. Going to play rook a6. They don't threaten anything to b1, and their queen doesn't really have a good way to support that. Yeah, so their point is if I take on d6, they come to h4, and I can't defend that. But that's hanging. Whew. Lucky me. Did not see that immediately. It was just kind of looking at their threat and not thinking about whether it was a decent move. Let's play someone else a little higher rated. But I don't think I got anything that game. I think my queen f3 plan ended up being pretty slow. But 3 for 3? Let's play the 4 knights. I quite like the Spanish 4 knights. I think one of my best tournament wins in terms of just like nice miniatures is in it. Okay, where am I supposed to retreat to? I think a4, because c4 I'm just going to lose time to d5, and a4 can kind of pin the pawn. I'm still threatening knight e5, and when I play castles, they're going to get the 2 bishops, so I don't feel too bad about them grabbing it here. Just make improving moves, but it is difficult just after you have stopped having improving moves to make to find another move in these lines. I think I'll try to play bishop g5 and queen d3. Maybe bishop h4 to g3 puts a little pressure on their center, and also potentially opens up like knight h4 to f5 ideas. Maybe that's a way to improve my knight. But you get these positions where you have a little more space, they have the 2 bishops, and it's just hard to find improving moves sometimes. I am threatening to take on e5. Yeah. I'm kind of interested in knight h4 to f5. Just trying to find some kind of forward momentum to the position. Maybe f4. Got to keep an eye on the e4 pawn, because they always have b4 ready to draw away one of the main defenders. And I'm not sure what I want to do with my pawn center. I don't want d5. I don't really know if I want d or fe5. I don't particularly want f5. So I sort of am trying to get my position to move forward. I feel like that helps me a bit. I guess I'll take and then bishop f2. Pretend this is a tempo. And then I guess rook d1. I'm probably never getting real threats from a1, so I'd rather switch what my target is. Does bishop b6 do anything? Probably not. What piece of mine can I improve? That is the question. Maybe b4 is improving, because if they ever want to advance their queen side, they will now have to trade for a pawn of mine that isn't very good. Maybe now g3. And also they don't have the b4 option. I do think b4 was a good move. I may have made a good move this game. I can also now think about bishop b6, rook d7, and then e5, because their d-pawn will be pinned. They can take f-pawn, and they have it covered here. But I should keep in mind that their rook on d7 will not be defended if that happens. So I could also play bishop b6 to c5. I don't think this does anything. So let's give myself the option to double rooks. Okay, I don't want to allow h4 breaking up my pawns. This does give them some light squares. They should definitely consider bishop c8. Maybe I should consider if my... Ooh, now I can. I was going to say maybe I should consider knight e2 to d4, but I can't because they are on the e4 pawn. But if they are not on the e4 pawn anymore, I can also play rook d1, where they have to play knight c8, I think. I don't see a way to exploit that. I'm going to try this knight e2 idea. This might be an error because it might get very hard to defend d4. But if I can reposition the knight to d4... Okay, they had an idea. Maybe f5 and knight e6, though. Both our knights are starting to get outposts. I thought they should have gone c5 last turn, but I didn't calculate deeply. Alright, this turn it happens. Might as well pre-move that. Maybe they can... I think they probably have to give up an exchange at this point. They have some compensation. Except that when I take on c5, their d-pawn will be pinned. So they might be in trouble now. Huh. Yeah, I think they gave me a little more than I deserved. Maybe a lot more. Yeah, I'm gonna swap things because that's usually the simplest. I think bishop d4 does a nice job kind of keeping their knight out of the game. I'm not sure what to do with my king, and my pieces are a little tied to what they're currently defending. Do I want to take that? No idea. So I'm going to play king f2. I'm going to play bishop c3 to meet b4 with rook d1 check, and then move the bishop. Okay, I hung e4. So I have rook d6, takes a6. Maybe rook a5 coming? I hung that pawn too, didn't see that at all. Yeah. Maybe come to b7 and try to swing the bishop around to f8. They can grab g3 with check, though. And they probably should have. Okay. So their claim is I have no way to progress, but they're also out of time. Okay. Did not show convincing technique there, but I think I'm 4 for 4. We have a shot at my first 5 for 5 video. There were points that felt promising, but nothing's more exciting than an Idor, except maybe a dragon, but to me, nothing's more exciting than an Idor. So I'm going to play knight d7, and I intend this weird queen a5 idea. I've mostly seen f4 here. Queen e2 is a move, which looks a little odd. Queen d2 is, of course, also a move. So my point is I can now play e5. We've had some games here of varying interest levels. There was the one with a knight f5 that got really complicated. I ended up just getting mated when they didn't even have a queen left. So ef4 is interesting. Or h6 maybe? I'm going to go b5, but I might want to look to include h6 at some point. Okay, let's definitely play h6 now. If bishop h4, I have this ef4 idea, where they can't play queen f4 because of g5. So players often get, scared of that. I'm just going to keep it simple, take back. If bishop f6, knight f6, knight d5, knight d5, I've had reasonable results there. I play bishop b7. One thing to note is with their pawn on a3, if their queen ever moves away from c3, I have bishop a3 ideas. I'm going to play rook c8. I'm now threatening bishop a3, winning a pawn. Maybe they can meet it with knight b5, but I feel opening up their king side must be worth it. But is it actually? Knight b5, ab5, ba3. That b5 pawn's not great. Maybe b4 then. Yeah, b4. If they take, I have bishop takes b4. If they don't take, I'm going to take on a3. This looks like the better approach, because the other approach I end up with an awkward pawn on b5, and here I have a better pawn on a6. It's easier to defend and doesn't get in the way of the b file, which is probably better for my attacking than the a file. I'm not sure, but this does look better to me. Now I don't see how they keep c3. They don't have knight d5 now, just because knight takes d5 defends my bishop. But knight b5. Okay. I missed this. Alright. I guess I can take the queen, so if ab5, queen b4, I don't like my position. But if bishop d2, knight c7, rook c7, rook d2, I can take e4 at the end. And I should still have a pretty nice position. I think they'll play rook e2. And then I have a choice between f5. I like f5. Okay, they did not. Now I have pressure on c2. Can still play f5. I can also just keep my bishop on the long diagonal. I think it's good there. I like my position. I think it's good. Ah! Ooh! I was only looking at other move orders. Yeah, so if I take that, rook d8 mate, so I have to play king f8, and I no longer like my position. Ooh. Yeah. Alright, well, let's avoid resigning. But it's pretty close to resigning. Okay. I can return. I can also play bishop e6. And I might have knight b4, so I'm going to just go back to where it was. Try not to resign. I think I just got to get out of stuff. I'm just going to play king g8 to h7. And just try to keep the game going. I have b7 I can go to. Alright. So I'm down a pawn now. But it may be rook c8 coming. I might have pressure on c2. My knight can now find its way into the game. Maybe knight c5 next. Knight c5 threatens to take on b3. There is a trick. And I also might come in on c3, or take on g3. My position's probably good again. Probably, yeah. So they're just going to give the exchange. And I don't see anything fancy to do. Okay, think about taking on g2. Okay, let's keep that pawn. I'm going to play f5, think about rook f7 and f4. Rook e8, the pin isn't good. I want to get out of potential checks. Let's play bishop g4. I hung the exchange. Now I'm just behind on the clock. It's not actually where I meant to go, but this rook. Okay. I hung the bishop, but alright, yeah. Alright. Okay, I'm interested in what happened there, so I'm going to go back. 4 for 5, did not get my first 5 for 5. Queen c7, castles. So it looks like h6 and b5 are both fine. I went for b5, a3, h6, fe5, d5. I was right not to take on g5, I'm glad. Bishop h4, bishop b7. Hey, I'm playing well so far. Bishop d3, and I thought there was an opportunity here. Ooh, no, I didn't. I wanted to play rook c8 first, threatening bishop a3. But I could have gone for b4 immediately. Huh. Oh, when they played knight b5, I probably kept describing it as knight takes b5, because I just assumed something was there. Alright, b4 hits hard already. That makes a lot of sense. So rook c8, my first bad move. And now I could rip on a3. Ah, I picked the wrong one. Bishop a3. What was I worried about? Knight b5? I think I was worried about knight b5. But apparently this is just crushing for me. Ah, I take on e4 at the end. Okay. So bishop a3 was the way to go. I picked the wrong one. Knight b5 is a good move by them. And now I'm doing well, but I blundered rook takes e5. Should have played f5. Yeah. They came in. I didn't resign. Oh, I do have bishop c2. Yeah, because I hit the rook at the end. Tried to return. And I'm curious what the eval was when they gave up the exchange. Yeah, so I am better here. Yeah, after b3, knight c5. And, yeah. Ooh, and I don't have to take the rook. I should have been fancy. Yeah, rook d7. Pin the knight and threaten to take and then take here. Yeah, nice move. Good. Should have looked longer at being fancy. Okay, interesting game. 4 for 5. And I somehow won that bullet game in the second game.